For decades, General Motors symbolized American industry at its peak. The company survived oil crises, recessions, and even bankruptcy, all while building some of the country's most iconic vehicles. Millions of loyal customers trusted that the Chevrolet badge stood for value, reliability, and honesty. But today, that trust is being tested, not by a major recall or a failed product launch, but by something far less obvious. The controversy centers on a line that most buyers barely notice: destination and freight charges. Hidden among the numbers on a vehicle's window sticker, these fees were long accepted as a standard cost of getting a car from the factory to the dealership. Yet when General Motors quietly increased those charges across much of its lineup, customers began asking difficult questions. Why does a pickup truck built just minutes from a dealership cost nearly as much to deliver as a luxury car shipped halfway around the world? Then came another twist. In September 2025, GM CEO Mary Barra sold a significant portion of her holdings in the company she has led for years. The sale was entirely legal and publicly disclosed, but the timing immediately fueled speculation. Was it simply routine financial planning, or did it reflect concerns about the road ahead? The truth may be more complicated than either GM's critics or supporters admit, because behind the headlines lies a much larger story, one involving corporate strategy, rising costs, political pressure, and the uncertain future of Detroit. Real quick, if you're into videos that cut through the noise and break things down clearly, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps more people find this. And if you're not subscribed yet, now's a good time. We've got more deep dives coming your way. Also, drop a comment and let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your take. Now onto the video. Section 1. The fee nobody questioned. Less than 20 minutes from General Motors' Fort Wayne assembly plant sits a Chevrolet dealership selling brand new Silverado pickups. Yet customers there pay the same destination charge as buyers living thousands of miles away in cities like Los Angeles or Miami. For the 2025 model year, destination charges on GM's most popular trucks climbed to roughly $2,595. To many buyers, the increase seemed difficult to explain. Fuel prices had not surged dramatically, supply chains had stabilized, and the industry was no longer facing the severe disruptions of the pandemic years. So why were customers suddenly paying hundreds more? Officially, destination charges exist to spread transportation costs evenly across the country. Automakers argue that a customer living near a factory should not pay significantly less than someone in a remote state. By averaging those expenses, manufacturers create a single nationwide fee. Critics, however, believe the system has changed. Online forums quickly filled with comparisons showing that some imported vehicles, cars shipped across oceans and transported by rail and truck, carry destination fees similar to, or even lower than, those attached to American-built pickups. But there is another perspective. Automakers today face enormous expenses, from higher labor costs to stricter regulations and billions of dollars invested in electric vehicles. From GM's point of view, increasing destination charges may simply be a way to recover those costs without dramatically raising the advertised sticker price. Whatever the explanation, one thing is clear: customers have started paying attention, and the questions surrounding these fees are only the beginning. Section 2. The real reason prices keep rising. As criticism over GM's destination charges grew, many buyers began asking whether the fees truly reflected shipping costs. To understand the controversy, you have to look beyond dealerships and into the larger forces reshaping the auto industry. Over the past several years, automakers have faced mounting pressure from all directions. Steel and aluminum prices increased, labor contracts became more expensive, and governments pushed companies to invest billions in electric vehicles and battery technology. Tariffs and trade tensions only added to the uncertainty. Publicly, manufacturers tried to reassure consumers that prices would remain under control. But industry analysts pointed out a simple reality: somebody eventually has to absorb those costs. Companies can either raise sticker prices directly or spread the increases across less noticeable fees. That is why destination charges have attracted so much attention. Critics argue that automakers discovered a way to increase what customers pay without dramatically changing the advertised price of the vehicle itself. The monthly payment still goes up, but the increase is buried in a section of the window sticker that most buyers rarely examine. Yet there is a different perspective. GM is spending enormous sums to reinvent itself, investing heavily in electric vehicles, battery plants, and new technologies while trying to remain profitable. Supporters argue that rising fees are simply part of an expensive transition that every major automaker is facing. Whatever the explanation, consumers care less about corporate strategy than affordability. And just as frustration over rising costs intensified, another development at GM began attracting even more attention. Section 3. The CEO's multi-million-dollar decision. In September 2025, General Motors CEO Mary Barra sold a significant portion of her holdings in the company, a move that immediately sparked debate across the automotive world. On the surface, the transaction was entirely routine. Senior executives are often compensated with stock and stock options, giving them a direct stake in the company's performance. Barra, who has spent decades at GM and became CEO in 2014, is no exception. By any legal standard, the sale followed established rules and was publicly disclosed. But critics focused on one detail: timing. The sale came as customers were questioning higher destination fees, while investors were already worried about slowing demand and the enormous costs of GM's electric vehicle ambitions. For many observers, the obvious question was whether the company's leadership knew something the public did not. Supporters of Barra pushed back against that idea. Executive stock sales are frequently planned months in advance through pre-arranged trading programs designed to avoid insider trading concerns. Financial advisors also encourage executives to diversify their assets instead of keeping too much wealth tied to a single company. Still, perception matters. Barra is not just another investor. She is the person responsible for steering one of America's largest manufacturers through a period of historic change. Whenever someone in that position sells millions of dollars worth of stock, speculation is inevitable. And as investors looked deeper into GM's filings, they discovered that Barra was far from the only executive reducing their stake. Section 4. The insider trend that caught Wall Street's attention. Mary Barra's stock sale might not have generated so much attention if it had happened in isolation. Instead, investors noticed a broader pattern. Over recent months, GM insiders had sold significantly more shares than they had purchased. That imbalance quickly fueled speculation. After all, company executives understand their business better than almost anyone else. They know where profits are growing, which projects are struggling, and what risks could emerge in the future. Naturally, investors pay close attention to how those insiders manage their own money. To critics, the trend raised uncomfortable questions. If GM's future is as promising as executives claim, why are insiders selling instead of buying? Online forums and social media users pointed to slowing vehicle demand, concerns over EV investments, and fears of a broader economic slowdown. But financial experts warn that insider sales can be misleading. Executives sell stock for many reasons that have little to do with company performance. They may need cash for taxes, diversify their portfolios, or reduce personal financial risk. In fact, many advisors would argue that holding too much wealth in a single stock is a mistake. Even so, perception often shapes reality. Customers were already frustrated by rising vehicle prices, and investors were looking for signs of weakness in the auto market. The combination of higher fees and insider selling created a narrative that GM's leadership might be preparing for difficult times ahead. Whether that narrative proves correct remains to be seen. But while Wall Street debated stock filings and corporate strategy, the people feeling the pressure most directly were dealers, factory workers, and ordinary buyers. Section 5. The people caught in the middle. While investors debate insider sales and executives defend rising costs, the people feeling the consequences most directly are the dealers, factory workers, and customers caught in the middle. For local Chevrolet dealerships, higher destination charges create an impossible situation. Dealers do not pocket that money. It goes directly to General Motors. Yet they are the ones who must explain to customers why the same truck suddenly costs hundreds of dollars more than it did a year ago. As buyers become increasingly price-sensitive, dealerships face growing pressure to offer discounts and incentives just to keep inventory moving. That pressure extends all the way to the factory floor. Workers at GM plants understand a simple reality. When sales slow, production slows as well. Fewer vehicles sold can mean reduced shifts, delayed investments, and concerns about long-term job security. Many employees also own GM stock through retirement plans, meaning that any decline in the company's performance affects them twice, both as workers and as shareholders. Meanwhile, consumers are becoming more cautious. Interest rates remain elevated, monthly car payments have reached record highs, and buyers now have more alternatives than ever before. Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, and Kia continue to attract customers with strong reliability ratings and competitive pricing. Brand loyalty alone may no longer be enough to keep long-time GM buyers from exploring other options. But there is also a contrarian view that deserves attention. GM is navigating one of the most difficult transitions in automotive history, balancing electric vehicle investments, labor costs, and global competition. The company may not simply be chasing profits, it may be fighting to remain competitive in an industry changing faster than anyone expected. At first glance, this story seems straightforward. Destination charges increased, customers became frustrated, and GM executives sold stock. But the deeper you look, the more complicated the picture becomes. Critics argue that General Motors has prioritized short-term profits over customer trust, using fees to quietly increase what buyers pay while executives reduce their own exposure to the company. To them, the combination of higher charges and insider sales sends a troubling message about the future of one of America's most iconic manufacturers. Yet there is another possibility. GM is attempting something few companies have ever accomplished, reinventing itself while still producing millions of traditional vehicles every year. The shift toward electric cars, software, and new technologies demands enormous investments, and the company faces challenges from regulators, competitors, and an uncertain economy. In that context, rising fees and executive stock sales may not signal panic at all. They may simply reflect the harsh realities of modern business. The real question is not whether GM increased destination charges or whether executives sold stock. Those facts are public. The bigger question is what those decisions reveal about the future of the automotive industry itself. For generations, Detroit thrived because customers believed that American automakers understood their needs. Today, that relationship is being tested. Consumers are more informed, competition is fiercer, and loyalty is no longer guaranteed. Whether General Motors emerges stronger or weaker from this moment remains uncertain. But one thing is clear, the choices made today by executives, workers, dealers, and customers alike will shape the future of Detroit for years to come. Once again, thanks for watching this video. If you got something out of this, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. And hey, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Agree, disagree, or something in between? I'd love to hear it.